Hey guys, so this is big news. This is like kind of insane, but it took me a while to get here. I will say this was definitely one of the hardest segments of weight loss I've had. And let's get into it. We have a lot to talk about in this video, and I already messed up once, which is great. But what my current stats are is I weigh 324.8 pounds. I have 45.7% body fat. My waist above the belly button is 40 inches, and my abdomen, so where the pants go, is 44. I just want to say that for posterity and for the record, basically, at this point. And then if you guys don't know my height, I'm 6'1". So those are my stats. And there's some good and some bad with this. I first out the gate just have to say this is definitely one of the hardest things I've ever done. With this thyroid protocol, I don't have a way back, so I must go forward. There's nowhere to go but forward, just because it would probably take more effort for me to undo things than to continue forward at this point, which can sound crazy, but there's just certain hormonal factors in my brain now where I cannot overeat like that. Like, I'd have to really force it, and I don't have my BED anymore, so there's no drive to like force it and like break the system again. So the system is pretty fixed in a lot of ways. So I would say, like, right off the bat, I have to tell you guys, definitely after 50 pounds lost, I started noticing different health benefits, huge amounts of benefits in terms of like the weight loss becoming much easier to sustain, the appetite, I had a lot of changes to my shame response, so a lot more self-control and these kind of things, a lot more awareness about how I'm coming across, or awareness about, other types of things in a good way. Like, it's actually, I do believe it is a good thing. But there are some negative sides too. Like, I'll put it to you this way. Today, I am very realistic about things. I don't have there's no rose-colored glasses on reality. And that's definitely good. So I would say, like, mental health benefits have really kicked up a notch after that 50 pounds. Other things, like, it was noticeably easier to walk and stuff. I still, with my hypo, I do get shortness of breath. I still have that, but it's not as severe as it used to be. It's still there, though. I still get the obesity-related hypoventilation occasionally, especially when my liver is swollen because it's processing toxins and estrogen and all this stuff. My liver will kind of swell a bit, and it makes it harder to breathe. And then I process it, and then it comes back down, and then it goes away. So that aspect is still there. Like, I still have a lot of these sort of severe hyposymptoms, or these kinds of things where it's more severe-ish. I get cold at night, and it's really hot here, and I will still get cold. So that's kind of insane. Like, even right now, my feet feel cold, and it's like really hot outside. So I have those types of things as I'm really shifting towards being moderately hypo instead of severe. I'm getting out of this crisis zone. I would say I'm no longer in crisis. I think we can pronounce that today. I'm just in challenging, right? Which is different than crisis. Things don't get better immediately, and they don't go from, being at the floor to being at the sky. Like, I always talk about the fact that from 2021 into 2022, so that whole year, I didn't know exactly if I was going to make it. I didn't really know. Once I knew that I was going to make it towards January or so, things started to improve of 2022. From that point forward, I've been in crisis. So in crisis mode. And now I will say I'm no longer in crisis mode, which is hugely successful. I have lost 60 pounds of fat. I have gained 10 pounds of muscle over the past year. Almost exactly. I got my scale July 16th last year, and I weighed in today. That's my results. That's a huge success, especially coming from such a high point, especially coming from a place of huge metabolic damage, mental health issues, physical health issues, being so low that you don't know if you're going to make it levels. So that's behind me. And that is like, wow. I'm still what I would consider super morbidly obese. But the end of that is in sight. I think, as I get towards 300 pounds, then I will be leaving SMO and going into MO. And that will be an even bigger accomplishment in a lot of ways. I know health-wise, I would feel a lot more comfortable if I was at 40% rather than 45. 45 is still very severe. Once I get below 40, I will be just considered morbidly obese. It's less dangerous than where I'm currently at. But I will say, as of now, I don't necessarily feel that I am in crisis, or I think the crisis has receded enough. Health journey things, they don't tend to flick on and off like a light switch. You flow from one state to the other. So I would say I'm more not in crisis than in, if that makes sense. But I still struggle with those severe or more severe symptoms like shortness of breath, feeling cold. I still get serotonin hands. So I had it last night where my hands were being weird. I still am very, very serotonin-y. And what that means is like I'm dealing a lot with serotonin on a physical level still. And one of the biggest symptoms of that is that I get very depressed. So that's really what I have to talk about here today, is that aspect of it. So I think a lot of times healing can seem not linear, or healing can seem like you're getting worse, but I'm not. When it comes to hypo, being severely severe, it tends to make you act very manic and spastic, and you get very hyperadrenal. A lot of these really, really bizarre things. I don't have that anymore. So I'm more moderate now, and that means that I just really have the depression of hypo. I have the coldness, the low energy, these aspects, the unconfidence, the shyness, right? The kind of low-level social anxiety, these types of things are more so what I have today, which is definitely a step in the right direction. I mean, it's kind of unbelievable. Because you fight for so long, and then you finally make it somewhere, and it's like, wow. It's unbelievable. So I will say, I am really grateful on an intellectual level, but I don't necessarily feel it. And I think I don't feel it because I think after last night, I've been depressed for weeks, especially since April. It's been really rough. And there have been some events in my life, but it's also physical, especially in July, it really upticked. I have these certain times where it upticks. And for a long time, I was just getting into depressive episodes. like the day after I would go to the gym or something like that, and it's kind of progressed, and now I'm just consistently depressed on a daily basis. And especially at night, I get really depressed. And I think it's, for me, it's been consistent enough at this point that I will declare myself depressed. It is physically based, it is hormonally based, and it is a step towards my recovery. I know that that may sound weird to people, but when it comes to hypo, being depressed is healthier than being manic and spastic and crazy and this type of stuff. So I'm not really any of those things. I'm just really sad a lot. And I think about the past a lot, and it's just very difficult. Like for me, it's harder to be sad than angry. It's harder to be sad than anxious. So I will say with almost 100% certainty that had I been doing any other type of protocol, I would have quit. Absolutely. If there was something I could have done that would have taken the depression away, I probably would have done it. But with the thyroid protocol, things flow over such long periods of time that it won't really change anything if I quit. It would take months to go back to being manic, which it's like, who wants to do that? I don't want to die. I don't want to destroy my health. So realistically, it's just not going to happen. It's not like keto where you can cheat one day and all fat loss ceases immediately and you immediately feel better. That doesn't exist on this protocol. Even if I overeat, I just feel nauseous. I don't feel any better. I don't feel less depressed. I just feel depressed and nauseous. Like, there's no incentive at this time of my journey to quit, which is probably what is saving me, honestly. I appreciate some of you guys appreciating me talking about the harder points of weight loss. Because I would love to just be like love and lighty on here. And I will say, as far as that side of things, it is incredible to no longer be at a crisis point. I think that that is something that was held over my head for such a long time that I'm still adjusting to it no longer being there. And I do look forward to, in the future getting out of this depression, which really the only cure for this depression is to lose weight. I have to just continue the process and get less hypo, and then I won't be depressed anymore. So that's really all I can do, honestly, is just continue to lose and just use the depression as motivation to keep going, because I know that it's physical and chemically based. And I don't want to take any medications because they tend to be anti-thyroid, and I would only take something like that if I was really in crisis in my life, and I'm not. This is completely physical. And at that, I would only take it at a temporary basis, which I have done before. So I'm not just saying that. I have done it in my past, but I'm not doing that now. So it's just really getting through and just holding on to momentum, which is difficult when you're depressed. So really the only issues I have now is like I have a hard time like taking care of the gardening, or like my room is kind of messy, it's like stuff like that. I have very low motivation. It's hard to do YouTube when you're depressed. It's like these kind of things. But I want you guys to know it has nothing to do with you guys. This is just how I felt for many years of my life, like at this similar size, like at different points when I've been here, I felt the same way. So it is difficult. I'm okay right now, but I'm sure at night it will be a little hard. I might get a little boost because I'm going to the gym tonight, so maybe it does help. And I'm just going to continue with the gym. I'm going to continue with my deficit. I'm just going to keep going. That's really all I need to do. I don't need to change anything. I have noticed I do have less sugar cravings, not none, but less, definitely. And I'm less moony, less moony for sure. So I think that's great. And I'm really still continuing my goal towards getting to 300, hopefully throughout the month of November. That is my goal. I want to get to 300 before the winter. I think it will really help me and bolster me over the winter if I'm at a lower size. So that's really what I'm all eyes fixed on, trying to get there. I have to just keep going. And so that's really what this phase is. And I'm really glad that I can show you guys results, that things are happening. That part I'm really grateful for. And like I said, I'm going to try to look at things more gratitude-wise. I do a lot of life review stuff. Like I was watching videos of me from 2019 and stuff like that. And it's just really weird to look at that time. And I could see it realistically. And I was not happy at all during that time. And I was really crazy. And so it's really weird to just like, you know, look at that aspect realistically. Like I feel like I can see things through a different lens. Like the hypo haze is gone in me. It's completely gone. It's been dying all year. And today I can say it is over. Like I'm not like a fat activist anymore. You know, I don't look at things like they do. And I used to. And that part is like, not that I was ever fat acceptance, but just the sort of unrealism of fat acceptance activists is something that I definitely related to when I was in the hypo haze. And so it's really weird to think about. But yeah, I mean, I literally tried on a pair of jeans from when I was a sophomore and they fit. They didn't fit completely, like I wouldn't wear them, but I could button them. And that's crazy. So like stuff is really happening for sure. For sure. But yeah, I look forward to not having the serotonin hands and stuff. I don't really like that. It's kind of weird. But it is my nervous system and brain rewiring. It's like I'd have this positional vertigo as well. So if I turn my neck a certain way, I'll get vertigo. But it's all pretty benign. It's just really obesity related, and it's, you know, getting towards less severe levels. Like my body is changing. My body is recovering. And as my nervous system recovers, my brain recovers, and it's just all continuing at the same time. So I would say definitely huge health breakthroughs within this amount of weight lost. Absolutely. Huge health benefits, I would say. Like, but I don't necessarily feel great. I do feel that I'm, like I don't feel like I'm in crisis, which is really big. And I really need to think about that a lot over the next few weeks, because I have to appreciate where I came from. And that's also why I'm glad I have these videos. But I think that's pretty much all I have to say. I'm really just continuing everything I'm doing. I will say this 10 pounds was probably the hardest I've been throughout this journey. It was really tough. I did have a pretty severe plateau. Not severe, but I was plateaued for quite a while. Like, for me anyways, at this size, you know, going almost 2 weeks without losing weight at this size, that's pretty severe plateau. So I'm still really big. But I do look forward to getting to 40% and, you know, really the health benefits that will likely happen around that time, and no longer being SMO at that time. Like, we will definitely have to celebrate. But I am on path. I'm doing fine. My issues of appetite, I did struggle a little bit with appetite throughout this phase of 10 pounds. But it wasn't much. It was just I ate more on a couple days, like maybe 3 or 4 days out of the whole time. I mean, it's really unprecedented with how well I've been doing. So this is real. This is happening, okay? we're going to continue on. I will see you guys again soon. I do have so many ideas now for content. I'm just depressed and I'm having a hard time organizing things in my life and like getting the motivation to do things. But thank you guys so much for your support. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to showing you guys more progress in the weeks and months to come. Thank God I'm not in crisis. It's like really good to be able to say that. It was very hard earned. So, rejoice. I will see you guys later. Bye.